Hey guys, it's Snowman. Something I get requests for all the time is to go over my video creation process. So today we're gonna look at just that. Here's everything that goes into making a video for the channel. I'm going to be fairly thorough because I want you to get the best picture of what I do possible, in case you're thinking about starting to make videos yourself or even improve the quality of what you already have. Now I actually have several different shows on here. You Need to Play, Free Game Friday, How-Tos, and of course the Good Game Design series, but some of them are very different from others in terms of production. A guitar cover, for example, while complicated in the syncing process, is almost nothing like a regular analysis video. Likewise, the snowcasts have very little editing once the recording is over. They don't resemble what I normally do either. So today, we'll use the process I used for the Spelunky Good Game Design video as an example, since it has all the basic parts of what I do. Let's start at the beginning. The first step is probably one of the hardest, and that's just coming up with an idea. One of my goals with Snowman Gaming is to bring something new to the table. That's why you'll rarely see me do a run-of-the-mill review of a game. Instead, I'll break it down and try to talk about why a game is great or what stood out to me, etc. I think it's important to ask yourself why you want to make this video. Are you covering a popular game but discussing an element that hasn't been brought up before? Are you wanting to share the awesome gaming experience you had with other people and explain why? I think those reasons are fine, but what you shouldn't do is create a video just for a video's sake. What I mean by that is, don't go into a project with the mindset of, well, I need to make a video on something, I guess I'll just do it on this game. Let the content be the inspiration for the video, not the video being a reason to play a game. What will normally happen for me is I'll play a game, and if the experience is interesting enough, it may manifest itself into something worth discussing. Even if I'm just playing a game for fun, I'm looking for how elements in the design are implemented. So I might start mulling over some ideas. Why was this game so fun? What was I expecting going in? Is the game design intuitive or not? And if I think it's something worth pursuing, I'll either write it down for a later date or start the next step right away. Scripting. Scripting can be the hardest process for a lot of people because you're essentially writing an essay. A video script should follow the basic structure of an essay as well. An introduction, the bulk of your point, and a conclusion. But obviously you can spice it up with comedic lines or a sketch. For myself, writing sort of always came easy, and when I have an idea, normally the words will just flow out of me. Often I'll finish a rough draft in one sitting, but I know that's not the case for a lot of people. Sometimes writing bullet points of what you want to hit on will help too, giving a sort of skeleton to your script before you write in the meat of it. Again, I think it's important to have a main point. Why are you making this video? A thesis, if you will. What do you want your audience to take away from what you're saying? Make sure everything flows well and leads nicely to your conclusion, where you can either reinforce your thesis or end with a question to get the audience engaged in the discussion you started. Your style of video creation will dictate a lot about your script, and it can be structured in whatever way will help you most. My friend CJ makes 2 columns, the script on the left and relevant gameplay footage on the right. He's already thinking about what would look good as a visual as he's writing the script itself. You can write notes to yourself about inflection, pacing, or if you want this to be an on-camera shot or over gameplay. Whatever works best for you, find your most efficient method, as it'll help you save time later. This particular script is a collaboration between myself and Gaming FTL, so I'm color coding the script to show who will say what section. As far as collabs go, you could write the script yourself and divvy it up, write the points you want to talk about and have the other person write their own sections, or the best method in my opinion, work together on making a cohesive script that flows well from one person to another. You can even add some back and forth banter to make it more like a conversation. Finally, revision of your script is highly important. Just like in school when they made you write a rough draft, a second, and a final draft, scripting is much the same way. I'll jot down my main points initially, but then comb it over multiple times for mistakes. Obviously grammar is important, but I also look for phrases that are confusing or could be worded better, when I reuse the same words over and over, or if I want to reshape my script and put a section in a different spot. Thesaurus.com is your best friend. Don't use the same descriptors too often. A script can become very repetitive if your script uses the same words to describe things in your script that could have been used with different words in your script. See what I mean? Have someone else look it over as well. Another set of eyes will help catch mistakes. In fact, have several people give their input. Sometimes you won't even realize that a part is total trash until they point it out. Read your script out loud. Sometimes sentences sound better in your head, but will be stupid once it comes out of your mouth. Give yourself a run through before you record it to make sure it all flows smoothly, and to practice how you'll say each line for the most effectiveness. Okay, enough about words. Let's talk about recording gameplay. This can work hand in hand with your scripting. Some people will want to record the game first and then script, so you can write about what happened when you played, while others will write the script first so they can get specific footage for a part they wrote about in the script. It all depends on what kind of video you're doing and your main goal. Normally, I'm in the second camp, where I'll try to record footage after the script and capture gameplay that will be most relevant to what I'm saying. If I talk about how beautiful the game is, I'll want to get a sweeping camera shot of the scenery. Or if I talk about a specific game mechanic, I'll be sure to show that part. In my opinion, your script is the most important, and the gameplay is there to accent your words. It's a visual aid to the point you're trying to make, so have that in mind as you record. I use Open Broadcast Software, or OBS, to record everything on PC, and I've had no issues with it. It works fantastically for footage as well as streaming, and it's 100% free. I have an entire other video on how to get it set up and use it effectively, so I'll let you check that out here. But there are other options that cost money, such as XSplit, Fraps, or Bandicam. I haven't used them though, so I don't have an opinion on the bang for your buck. For console footage, I use the Elgato HD, and it also has worked tremendously well for me. It's easy to set up and has incredible quality. My one complaint is that the file size is quite large through the Elgato. Make sure you have an external hard drive to store it if you're going to be recording a lot of footage with it. All products I use will be linked in the description below, by the way. This is the fun part of the process. You get to actually play a game. But alas, it's short-lived because now we need to move on to the voiceover. I used to record my VO using Windows Sound Recorder app, and I can't believe I ever did that because it's just horrible. Now I use a program called Audacity, which is free and can add all sorts of boosts and effects to your audio. I also use a Blue Yeti microphone, which is a pretty standard YouTuber starter mic. It's not the greatest out there, but certainly is all you'd need to start. If you're strapped for cash, another mic I can recommend is the Samson Go mic. It's about half the price, and the quality isn't bad. I used it for about a year before I upgraded. Audio is very important for a YouTube video though. Someone might click away if the first thing they hear is a distorted or low quality voice. Please do not use your internal mic in your laptop or something. A pop filter is also extremely recommended so you don't have horrible pops in your audio every time you try to say a word with the puh sound in it. Okay, so the actual recording process is kind of long and monotonous. Get used to hearing your own voice over and over again. Make sure you're saying your lines effectively, and if you screw up, try again until you get it right. I usually break up my VO by paragraphs and edit it down from there, but some people record the entire thing and then chop it up after. Neither is necessarily better, but I like to do smaller increments, in case one section is significantly louder or quieter than another. Once I finish a part, I add some effects to it. First, noise reduction. I leave a few seconds of silence at the beginning so I can get a noise profile, and then reduce the entire thing to get rid of any excess noise the mic may have picked up, like a truck driving by, or a leaf blower, or a pressure washer. Yeah, my apartment is really annoying to record in. Anyway, then I normalize it. This gets rid of any extreme highs or lows in volume you might have. And finally, I add a bass boost and a treble boost to give it a fuller, more dynamic sound. That way you can really hear me instead of it sounding like I'm across the room from you or something. It's like I'm whispering right into your ear holes. Then you gotta splice it all together. Cut out all the mistakes and try to really get the pace and timing right. You don't want too long of pauses in between sentences, but you also don't want to speed by so fast the audience didn't catch what you said. I started doing YouTube with way too slow of pace, and then I cut things way too fast for a while, but now I found a happy medium. Mess around with the different effects and timing until you get a voiceover that you're happy with. Now comes the fun part, the actual editing. I use Adobe Premiere, which is the main editing software that most YouTubers use, though some might use Sony Vegas as well. I actually used Corel Video Studio for quite a long time when I started out, but I don't recommend it. It's very limited in its capabilities. I'd go with Premiere if you can. If you're a student, you can get Adobe's entire creative suite for quite the discount, including Photoshop and After Effects. That's the best way to do it if you're in that situation. Premiere is great and pretty easy to learn if you have basic editing knowledge. I recommend checking out this tutorial by Barry Kramer from Game Grumps. It's a little long, but he's fun to listen to and goes over the basics of how he uses Premiere. The first thing I do is drop in my voiceover and add background music to it. As I said, I think the audio is most important, so I make sure that all that sounds good and is paced well before I add any video. Make sure the background music isn't too loud or overpowering and that the transitions between songs are smooth. You want them to fade, not cut off. What music should you use? The best choice would be something from the game you're talking about. But if you're discussing broader gaming concepts or something not associated with a specific game, just try to pick music that fits the mood of what you're saying. But stick to video game music, otherwise you'll risk a copyright claim. If you add any audio gags like sound effects or cuts of silence, make sure you add these in now. It might be hard to get a feel for exactly how long it should be without any video, but it's better to add it now than having to separate your audio out later and add in the sound effects. In this video, I mix mixed in Gaming FTL's voiceover as well as my own, so I had to check the pacing and the audio levels to make sure one of us wasn't louder than the other. It would be a jarring transition otherwise. Once your audio is complete, it's time to add footage. Obviously, if you have on-camera shots using your adorable little face, you'll add it in here, but I almost never use on-camera stuff, so I can't really help you with that. I do think it's important to ask how necessary it is for you to be on screen though. Are you adding something substantial to the video? Personally, I like to just get into the action. If you do use it, make sure you have a decent quality camera. I would avoid using webcams since there's a delay and a low frame rate, and don't look at a script as you talk. Memorize or paraphrase it. We notice if you're just reading. This is probably the most time-consuming part of the process. You need to find footage that fits the part of the video you're discussing, and it could take quite a while to sift through all your gameplay. Remember when I said you can make your also the part where I'll add improvement, much like work action and ending. Obviously, there are better programs out there to use. You can see here that I'm using Premiere to make these thumbnails and then just take a snapshot of the frame. But your best option is going to be Photoshop. It has the most functionality and will make your life a lot easier. But if you can't without overloading it. This is the first thing someone's gonna see of your video, so you want it to be eye-catching. A bad practice I used to do was putting not sound any less enthused about this. I look like I want to take an editor, as a writer, and as an actor. I promise you'll start to see improvements, and it's a fantastic feeling to look back at your old work and see how far you've come. Thanks for watching. Now go create something you're proud of.
Hey guys, Soul Closet here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to use OBS Studio. Now if you'll remember, I made a tutorial on how to use OBS Classic about 2 years ago, and that video is basically blown up in the last year or so, so I can tell that a lot of people want to know how to record games on their computers and stream them. So OBS Studio, right here, is the newest version of OBS, and it features a lot of performance improvements and layout changes for Hey guys, Soul Closet here, back making another video, and you may be wondering, well, I mean, I guess you read the title, but you may be wondering why you can see my recording software. Normally, you'd cut this kind of thing out. Well, today I'm going to be doing a tutorial at request of one of my friends to show you how to record full-screen games using Open Broadcaster software. Now, if you don't know what Open Broadcaster software is, for one thing, it's more commonly referred to as OBS. And if you don't know what it is, it's basically an open source and free recording software. So if you've ever heard of XSplit, that's another big one. Bandicam or Fraps, those are big ones too. It can take the place of all of those. It can capture from game capture devices, so you don't need to use this guy. You can just use, like with an Elgato capture like I have, OBS works perfectly, and again, no cost. You may have to download a plugin, but it's free and it's official. So everything's well supported and everything works perfectly. And so because I love OBS and that's what I use to make all of my videos, I figured I'd show you guys, especially those of you that want to start your own YouTube channels, you know, somewhat soon and shit. I want to show you guys how to do stuff in OBS. So the first thing you're going to want to do for recording a game is you're going to want to find where you have the game and open it up. Now I'm going to be using Portal, Portal 2 to test this out. And it may be kind of loud. I may have to mess with the volume settings, so give me a second and I will open up the game and adjust the settings. Okay guys, so now that we have the whole thing set up, now that we have the game open, you can see down here Portal 2 is open. We're going to right click in the sources box, and that's where you add that's how I added my screen capture. That's how you add any sort of capturing in OBS other than audio, which is done through here. That's why you can see it moving. So you're going to right click and you're going to go to add, and then this is important. If the game is in full screen, like mine is, you're going to want to select game capture from the list. If it's in a window, even if it's a maximized window, if a game is in a window, you want to do window capture. Never do monitor capture unless you want to capture the bar down here and any space on the desktop around a game. That'll also capture any Windows 8 extra stuff like I have here. That's what monitor capture does. Monitor capture basically takes your video card's output to your monitor through whatever cable and just clones it into a video file. So you don't want to do that for capturing games, even if the game is full screen. It's very important. So in this case, I have Portal 2 full screened. It's minimized right now, but it's full screened. So I'm going to click game capture. I'm going to call it Portal 2, although it does not matter what you call it. I usually just leave the default names, but for the purposes of the tutorial, I'm going to name everything what it is. So you'll see application. It'll give you a little code thing, colon, and then the actual name that shows up down here. And I can capture the games window, or I can capture Portal 2. Okay? You're going to want to probably stretch image to screen. Ignore aspect ratio. And the only reason I say that is that a lot of people's screens, especially on laptops, but sometimes older or more obscure monitors, they have weird aspect ratios. And if you want to capture in a format that looks good on YouTube and Twitch for streaming, you want to make sure that you select both those options. But if you want to read into it, you can. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is not always the best. So you want to capture mouse cursor, and then depending on the purpose of your video, you might want to do invert cursor on click. Don't do the anti-cheat compatibility hooking. You don't need that. Okay, don't mess with the gamma slider. Click OK. And now you won't see anything. There's nothing extra here. And that's because I still have my screen capture going on, and Portal 2 right now, as you can see here, is not putting out anything but a transparent screen. That's why you guys don't see the game, even though it's over that. Okay? So now I'm going to open Portal 2. And all you should be seeing right now, and I'm going to turn the volume down. Okay, all you guys should be seeing right now is Portal 2. You should be able to see in the Steam overlay right now, and you should be able to see my mouse moving around over here and moving through the options. Okay? And this is what you would want to do if you're capturing a game. Now, if I was capturing the game in a window, this is still all you would see. It's just that I prefer to play a lot of games in full screen, and so it's all up to personal preference, really. I know some people who hate playing games in full screen and they just want a window. And that's okay. You can do that with OBS as well. But here. So you can see this. The game works fine. There might be slight delay, and that's because of my previous recording settings. But, I mean, the game's still capturing, and that delay is not a default setting. So if you don't do it yourself manually, there's never going to be any unexpected delay. Now, if you're using a capture card to record from a game console, I won't be covering that in this video, but that can impose some delay, like with the Elgato Game Capture HD. But as far as capturing PC games, whether windowed or in full screen, that's how you do it. So I can just quit the game, and now you'll notice that the screen went black because there was no output, and now it's gone. And I can delete this source, and now all you're getting is my screen. So that's how you record in OBS. A couple of other things that I would say you probably want to check on before you make a real recording and not a test recording. Always make a test recording, don't just preview stream. Preview stream's useful for getting things set up, but you always want to make a test recording if possible. But one thing you're going to want to look out for is you want to go to settings, audio, and make sure that desktop audio device is either set to default if all of your audio is going to one thing, either a headset or speakers. You want to make sure it's either set to default or devices are. Usually my headset, because I use my webcam microphone for Skyping with people sometimes. Playback device, I already knew that. But your microphone auxiliary audio device. Bye.
Hello guys and welcome to Martin's Hacks, and today I'm going to show you how to record Steam games with OBS Studio. And this is video which I'm creating because someone of you asked me that he can't record Steam games or even streaming Steam games. After this video you will know how to stream or how to record Steam games.
Yewa. 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 I got money, I got everything, I catch it up. We hustle every day. We don't care for haters. You can hustle, you can make the money. Be fucker. Let's say be fucker. But we don't care. I say I love you, booty. Everything I love you, booty. I don't care, I don't care. I argue every day. I wanna make money. Come on, haters. You love a hilly, honey, body, G. Booty, booty, G. Booty.